3.
All right, welcome to Tailgate Talk. As you can hear with the sound in the background, here is all three of us together. Welcome back, Wegs.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It's nice to see you in the flesh. I almost forgot what you looked like for a while there.
Yeah, about 10 pounds heavier and a little bit grayer and a little more crow's eyes.
Oh, I love it. We've got a lot of stuff to get to and talk about this week on the show. Obviously, we want to touch base with bow season coming. I know there's a lot of excitement, especially in this room, and I guess probably throughout the Midwest, throughout the country, as there's a lot of early seasons opening up, touching some newsy stuff. We can talk about some venison care if we get around to that. And we're going to make Eric Tasker's mom famous on the show today.
Oh, yeah. Good.
So, first I want to start. How's the summer been? How you been? How's things going?
Good.
Since I was like 2-3 weeks ago? This weird Canada thing threw like a loop and everything for us.
Yes. So, yeah, the summer went by. It smoothed through pretty quickly. Unfortunately, our Lake Country Dockhounds, as we've talked before, I'm the pitching coach for the new American Association team, and it was a struggle. It was a startup, and realizing that talent is hard to find, hard to get players. Not realizing that would be an obstacle. We thought we had many, many hurdles, but we never really figured that would be one of them. Season went successful in all aspects of it. Business-wise, ticket sales, appreciation, fans, everything was great except the fact of how we performed on the field. So hopefully we move into next year. We bring a little bit more talent in. We know how to do it. We know what we're looking for a little bit better. We know how the league operates. And now we put a better product on the field, and hopefully we can just catapult from the good year we had here. So the Lake Country Dockhounds are done for season. The inaugural season's over, and we're looking forward to the next season starting up next year in May.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Bow season, how prepared are you ready? Are you planning to hunt opening weekend or?
So I was very thankful for BuckRub Archery and getting that crossbow.
That's what I wanted to touch. I wanted to hear about this crossbow you got from Kaz, the crew of BuckRub.
As most toys go, you play with it really quick, and then you kind of lose track. And
You shot it the day you got home, and you haven't looked at it since then.
I shot probably maybe about 24 or 25 bolts, and then I was thinking, this is going to be great. I'm going to be right on. I'm going to work this. I'm going to probably go every other day, and the next thing you know, it's I missed out. So I haven't pulled it out, but I will show you tomorrow.
Okay.
I will show you tomorrow, and we will work it. But it's outstanding. It's a crazy apparatus. I really don't have an excuse. Now, the only thing I really wanted to do is I wanted to get for my bow, my compound, I wanted to get this new Garmin. It's a zero.
You're the guy that's going to go into the we talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
And that would be you. Remember him?
Everybody technology that you don't have to have a range finder. You just pull it up, it ranges for you, it tells you where your target.
Ritter's the fancy guy. He's going to get that. But I looked at it and I was listening to him talk, and they're like, if you don't have time to practice and you don't have time to get in leagues and you don't have time to shoot, this is almost the fail-safe thing. You pull it up. They have that like that promo one, and you pull it up, and you can pull it up on his turkey or on his whatever you want.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it goes like you can hear it thinking. You can hear it thinking, and all of a sudden the green light goes on and it says 29 yards. Foomp. Dead.
See, and we talked about that, and I don't know, I can't even remember what your opinion was, but my thought was, you want every advantage that you can get without, obviously being illegal. So I don't really have a problem with that. It's just
I don't think it's illegal or should be or anything.
There are some states that it is illegal,
right.
though.
I look at it like forward-facing sonar. And the debate with that goes around forward-facing sonar and everything that goes with the technology, advancement in the fishing world. There's that argument of should they ban forward-facing sonar? Should there be restrictions put on it? Is forward-facing sonar pricing some people out of fishing? Something like that. Yes, it could be pricing people out of. Bows already are expensive as it is. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at $1,200 for a new. And I'm saying I'm going to go the main flagship type. Bows from either Matthews, Hoyt, Bowtech, one of the. It's $1,000 to $1,200 for a bow. That zero target.
Yes,
it's $1,000 for that.
Right.
Alone. So it's about the same price as a bow. So, but do you need to buy that to still participate in the sport? No. Just do you need forward-facing sonar to catch fish? No. I do just fine without it. So
But it's nice to have it.
Yes, that's the thing.
But that's exactly it. If it's something that you can, everybody makes their own choices with how they spend their money. If that's how you choose to spend your money, great. especially like you said, don't have time to practice, to target shoot, to all this and that. I would rather someone spend the money and do that and make ethical, clean kills than just going out and injuring and wounding animals because they didn't take the time.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a matter of if that's the route that you want to go down, I don't have any issue with that.
You gotta see it. You have to see it.
I've watched the videos.
I'm attracted to it. I would love to have it, but I almost wonder if it would take away some of the joy, some of the fun. Because to me, the whole part of playing with your pins and sighting in, and it's part of the romanticism of bow hunting. Where you take that away, now you just become a long dart rifle essentially to something. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it would become more of that, where it makes it. I don't think it makes it too easy, and I'm not shaming anyone for having it, so don't take it that way. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the whole you love shooting league, and the whole part of that is getting used to it. Like I feel like having something like that, I might be the person be too apt to just leave the bow sit in the case and go. I can go at opening day and just roll out there, pull out of the case. I'm set to go. Get hunted time. Throw it back in the case. Don't look at it for another year.
Right.
And so it takes away that part of knowing that I have to get out and start practicing and get the reps and doing all of those things.
And there's no reason you can't still do that.
But I would be lazy enough to know that I've got the safeguard that this thing is always going to be there and be perfect for me, is what I'm saying.
See, but this is perfect for you, though, Eggs, because your summers are so crazy with everything that you have going on, and your season ends so close to opening day. Not everybody has the ability to shoot a league leading into the season, or to shoot 2 to 3 times a week or 5 times a week or every day or whatever. It's the perfect situation for something like that.
But again, that's making an excuse for me. Even though you don't go to the ballpark until 3:00 or 2:30.
Right.
So what do you do?
Well, you're
I don't
sleeping
sleep till
noon.
I don't sleep till 2:29. I can get up and cut the grass and I can shoot. You can do it. But I think I'm on Ritter's side. I think that's how I would do it. Sort of like what I just did with the Raven.
Yeah.
I shoot the Raven. It's what I wanted, because when we go to Galena and we go on those tops and those bluffs, I want to be able to shoot down in the ravines. I shot it a couple times and I was dead nuts. I mean, it's what do I have to keep?
They're incredible.
Well, why do I have to keep practicing? Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, you're 24 for 25 in the size of a grapefruit from 50 and 60 yards. I'm like, well, what do I have to practice for? So now I put it away, and I had that in my back of my mind. I'm dialed in, man. I don't need to keep shooting.
You don't need to keep shooting.
And then I get lazy. Lazy.
But I think a crossbow is different than a longbow, a compound, anything like that, where, and this isn't saying crossbows, okay, I'll say it. Crossbows are easier. Plain and simple. Anyone shot one, it's, you wind it back, it's set. It's almost like a rifle. You still have to get within range. You still have to be ethical. You still have to get closer to animals than you do with a rifle or anything like that. But there's not as many moving parts to mess you up as a bow is, where you have to draw and hold. And there's so many more movements to shooting a bow versus a crossbow that I could totally see, where it's very easy just I got this. Draw back, I got no more than hanging a rifle. Like, okay, I got this.
Yeah, and when you shoot, you're like, oh, you're pretty good. And everybody says, oh, you can't miss. It's a cross. But wait a minute, it's loud. You can put the dampeners. You can put any voice or any
that is
noise
the
restrictor.
difference with them.
It's loud. So yeah, you can hit a nice target at 100 yards, but it goes boom. I mean, it's loud.
It's a loud. I mean, I could hear last year when my dad shot his buck with the crossbow. Yeah. He's 200 yards away from me, and I could hear him shoot.
You could hear it.
I could hear it.
Yes.
And then I heard the deer run out. So, yeah, I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages with it.
Target shooting, it's great, but you got to get close. Almost, you'd rather. So I'd take both.
Well,
bows
I mean,
out.
he was at like 13 yards or whatever. That thing was through before he even had any
400
idea.
feet per second.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Wags. You're going to have to get ready. I feel like more and more people are just bringing the hate for crossbow hunters, but it's just stupid because you've pitched for, a number of years and you've had rotator cuff issues. And my dad is another perfect example of somebody who worked in a foundry his entire life for 50 years and lifted, 75-pound sand molds, and his shoulders are shot. It's a perfect example of why we should be able to do that,
Correct.
Whether you need a medical reason or not. If that's the route you choose to go, if it's going to prolong the time you spend in the woods, I'm all for it.
And originally, at the very first time, when I first came back from playing, I did have to get the medical
Yeah.
I did, so I
Right.
got it. But I worked my ass off to try to be able to pull back a compound. I mean, I can only pull back 50. What is my set? Only
was
like
like
56
52
pounds.
or
Remember,
something. Yeah,
remember we cranked it up that BuckRub.
I shoot
Right.
56, and my theory on it all the time is it's not a strength contest.
Right.
Yes, I could pull back and shoot 70 pounds, but why? When I can shoot 56 and I can hold it there for as long as I need to hold, I'd rather be comfortable and not be fatigued after 30 seconds.
Because you want to be a man, Ritter. You want to be a man.
See, and that's just it. The people like it. I feel like that.
I shoot 72 pounds, yeah.
That's what people get caught in that attitude of like, oh, I have to buy a 70-pound bow. Or like, now Bowtech's got like the Revolt X or Revolt 80, which goes to 80 pounds. Like, I can do this. I shoot 80 pounds. It's like exactly. It's a mine's bigger type situation, and I don't feel like it should be that way.
Yeah, I've just always shot 70 pounds, so I don't really know any difference. So I don't really have a problem with it. Yeah. But I even had said something earlier this year, and I think it was just because it was the first couple times that I was shooting that I was like, I could dial it down.
You did. You said it to me, and I'm like, do it. Who cares?
But now that I'm shooting all the time, it's the reps. It's just the same. It's no different than before. And I mean, when you have 85 or 90% let off,
right?
It's the only time that I ever feel fatigued is like I've had to shoot a couple double round weeks where I'm shooting 4 arrows in a matter of a couple minutes. That last one, it's like if I don't, and it's all just from holding the bow up. Yeah. It's not from
the
drawing back.
Correct.
It's from holding the bow up because it's like, it's not a carbon bow. It's not super light. So that is the challenge that I have. It's not drawing back by any means.
I realized that the other day when I was out at BuckRub and shooting in the indoor range. I was making sure to test out my 30-40 and have everything set. And, I was bouncing my pin back and forth between 30-40 to make sure it was still dialed perfectly.
Right.
And kind of going back and forth on that. And you don't think about when you're shooting that many shots in that close of repetition, how quickly that fatigue of just holding the bow up comes to get you.
Yeah.
It's like I had to force myself to be like, okay, just shoot 3 arrows, stop, go get the 3. Don't think you can just sling them down, because you've got 12.5 arrows. Just whack, whack, don't do that. Just pace yourself out of it. And I was the only one at the range too at the time, so it was great to have that entire range to myself. So I didn't have to wait for anyone else.
You could do whatever.
Right. It was like having my own private range, which is great to get out there early in the day on a weekday to BuckRub.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, thanks again to BuckRub Outfitters for all they do for this show, for all of us. I know when I was out there doing that, I picked up a dozen freshies, got myself all set, good to go, because I had, the situation last year, which has been documented on this show, where I shot at that Monster 10 and shot a tree like a moron. So, there's one arrow that I got the arrow back. I lost the broadhead in that one. But later that morning, walking out, randomly, I somehow dropped an arrow somewhere. It fell out of my quiver. I have no clue how that happened or what, but it was just a day. So I lost an arrow there. I broke one shooting in the backyard, and then last time I was at a BuckRub shooting with my wife, same thing. I sailed over one of the targets, and it just caught a weird thing, and it turned sideways and T-boned into one of the trees there, and just snapped the arrow.
Oh yeah, I remember you said something about that.
It was a weird thing. I couldn't find any. I'm like, there's a shaft laying next to a tree broken, and I'm missing the field point part, and I'm missing the whole.
Everything.
Back the feathers and all. What happened here? I couldn't figure it out.
So weird.
So I was down a couple arrows, so I just wanted to get set up with a dozen fresh ones, so I'm all set, locked to go. So again, thanks to them for everything they've done there. And I was also out to kind of check out the stock of things, as we're 2 weeks away, because I've been noticing, especially broadheads, out of stock a lot online.
A lot of places, yeah.
The wall is loaded. And my specific broadheads that I shoot, the Manga Stingers, there was one on the rack, and I even said to Kaz, hey, do you guys have more of those? Because that was the only one. All the other sizes, I shoot the 100 grain, all the other ones were fully stocked. He's, we got totally a bunch. He pulls out 6 boxes of them.
Yeah.
And starts restocking. So that makes me feel the one that I'm shooting is the one a lot of people are shooting, that same 100 grain one. But
I wonder why. Is that because Kaz shoots that?
I think that's the exact same broadhead that Kaz
shoots. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's funny because we always talk about make sure to get in and get tuned up early. Well, I've been shooting this league with our buddy Vince, and he went in on Tuesday, and he actually has old arrows that they don't have a comparable model to them anymore. So he's actually going through the paper tuning and everything. So he's doing that tonight, and he's like, I don't know. I guess I've never gone through this before, so I don't really know what to expect, but it'll be really nice to have current arrows that I know we'll be able to find matches for, and that I won't have to worry about that anymore. But I don't care. I don't care if they're gold tips or Carbon Express or whatever they are. I just want to know that my bow is firing right. And so, like, they made some tweaks with his poundage, so he was only shooting like 50 or 52 pounds. They upped him. They maxed it out to like 62 or 64 pounds. So like all of those things coming into play, he's like, I'm going to have to spend every day at the range now because I need to get all of these things dialed in and make sure that my pins and everything are right. But he's like, I'm just so glad that I have somebody there that will walk me through it. They'll do the paper tuning for me, and they'll make sure that I get the right arrows so that I know next week, come opening day, everything will be fine. And it's like, well, that's the luxury of going to a place like this.
That's right. And that just reminds me. Remember when we went in there and we shot and they cranked mine up and I never adjusted my sights and I missed those.
Yeah.
That's what I think I shot over them because I don't know, I'm just assuming the more poundage you have, the faster it's coming out. Or
the less drop, the less arc that you'll have. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do. I have to set down that. But that's a good point, too. When you get your arrows, you got the right length, you got the right weight. If you're a 5 mm, if you're a full metal jacket, I'm an Easton full metal.
Yeah.
I go 5 mm. I use my 100 grain.
Gold tip Velocity XT.
I use them all. I mean, it's nice to be consistent. Because now you can. Now you really have to point the blame at yourself rather than anything else.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get more tailgate talk. Cycle back around here. We're going to talk about actually a conversation that came up on the boats that we had when we were up in Canada, Tasker. A change involving transporting of something from Canada to the U.S. We'll share what that is coming up here next. Hey, it's Ritter, and if you follow my socials or listen to our show a lot, I'm sure you've heard me talk about how relaxing and fun archery is. In fact, my wife has joined me and got a bow of her own at the same place I did, BuckRub Archery. They are your locally owned and operated one-stop shop for all things archery. With the area's largest inventory, they won't be undersold on any bow or crossbow. It's open to the public and the ideal place to find and test a bow before you buy. Plus, they also rent equipment, offer archery lessons, and have space for hosting birthday parties, scouts, or other events. And if you got an old bow that needs to be fixed, they can take care of you as well. Seriously, check them out off I-94 on Silverdale Road or BuckRubArchery.com. Welcome back to Tailgate Talk. Ritter, Wags, and Tasker all together. Don't forget, follow us on socials at On the Tailgate, at The Real Ritter for myself, at Wisco Bow Hunting, Eric Tasker, which if you do follow there on socials, you probably saw something this week. We were talking about getting ready for bow season. I know, Tasker, you'd thrown out sort of like, I don't know if it was exactly 15, but that's what's stuck in my head of the 15 arrow a day challenge, so to speak. I know you did it last year. You were trying to shoot every day a certain amount of arrows.
Yeah.
So I had posted the other day, okay, Eric Tasker, I will take you up on that. And I've started. I've done at least 15 arrows every single day since Labor Day weekend, and I'm holding true and going. I didn't the other night when I was at BuckRub, shooting there, doing stuff. I was going to back in the backyard again some more, but I was like, whatever. And I know there was a bit of a kickback on me shooting in my backyard in the city from someone.
Yeah. It's just so funny because my mom texted me and she says, I don't think it's safe shooting compound bows in your backyard in the city. Just saying. And I'm thinking...
And I've searched high and low on this. Wisconsin does not have a law preventing you from practicing archery in your backyard. They do require some cities to not allow shooting a bow within 300 feet of a building. Some cities allow it with permission from the building owner. It varies from area to area. I'm the building owner, so I'm giving myself permission to shoot if that's the case we want to go with. Yes, and I tried to look for it, and I don't see any law or any ordinance in the city that I live that says that you can't discharge a bow or shoot a bow, and maybe considered a dangerous weapon, perhaps, whatever.
Sure.
I have a pretty fenced-in yard. Like, the chance of someone seeing me, it might be a neighbor, and I highly doubt anyone is even going to see or pay attention or know what I'm doing. And it's not like I'm out there willy-nilly. Like I'm shooting at a dedicated target, couple arrows, and I'm done.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny, though. So the conversation continued, and I said, why? Because of Ritter's post. And then I said, gotta get the reps in, Mom. And she says, LOL, yes. Dad said if he shot one from our yard, it could go across County Line Road because they live right on County Line Road. And it could go through a bunch of big things, so I'm thinking it's I'm thinking a fence is necessary. Scary. And I said, we're trained professionals. And then she said...
Which is my favorite part of that, because I've never been called professional at anything.
And then she says, glad I don't live next door. I'm just afraid of those things. And then that's just kind of where it ended. But I just thought it was so funny because, you are in like an enclosed area. You're kind of sealed off from the rest of the world. You've got a fence and everything.
Pretty much. Yeah, I've got a 6.5 foot tall fence. You can't see through it. All wood. I mean, behind me there's like chain link, but there's like tall plants and stuff, and you can kind of see all the way down through a bunch of my neighbors' yards, but also know at the same time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and you're also not shooting that direction.
Right.
You're shooting back towards the wooden fence.
Yeah. The other part of my yard there is my whole house, which takes it up. So if I'm standing in the driveway area, if you look all the way down my driveway, but I'm so far down the driveway, and there's only cars parked in said driveway that you're not going to see or ever know. Neighbors might hear a thump, thump, thump.
Right.
And that's about it.
What I find so funny about this is that my parents live in this subdivision where they are the first new construction home as you enter the subdivision. Okay, so they're on County Line Road. They're recessed off of that quite a ways. But if we stand on my parents' deck and shoot out into their outlot, they've got like a communal kind of an area that's just like high grass that's kind of like a flood drain. If we do that, every single person that pulls into their subdivision would see us shooting with our bows.
Right.
So I think about before we left for Canada, I got my dad a new ground blind for his birthday. He's in the backyard shooting out of this thing. And it's if they see a ground blind, a camouflage ground blind, they're going to know that somebody's doing something in there.
But is there a rule against it? See, this is what I've always thought. I cannot do subdivision life. I can't do this whole subdivision, especially the ones where you got to pay the whatever
fees, association dues.
Yeah, exactly. The neighborhood association fees, whatever, and they have all their own little rules and laws. I'm like, if I can't hang a deer in my garage and butcher it myself, I can't do it. I'm not living here. I'm not living here. And they have so many weird, strict rules. You can't have this sign to this, and you have to have, decorations can only be allowed from this date to this date.
You
and have to be
the
within
right
this.
lamp
And
pole and
Right.
Whatever happened to I own my property?
That's
I
why
worry
you
about
can't
what's
live
on
in a
my
subdivision.
square lot. You worry about your square lot.
That's what happens when you live out in God's country. You don't have to worry about it.
See, no one can tell me I can't go out the backyard and relieve myself after a couple Coors Lights.
My son will just do that now the way it is in the middle of the city. There was an incident one time at the Milwaukee County Zoo. I had to tell him, no, you can't do that at the zoo.
Oh, man. He just wanted to be one with his company.
He's gotten better now, but there was a stretch there when he was getting the potty trained. He pretty much was potty trained where he just thought he could pee wherever. He still has the weird thing that he will jump in our little pool we've got in the backyard and get wet and be like, okay, I have to change my clothes, and just strip naked right there in the backyard, right in the middle of the driveway. Like the other day, he wanted to run out down the block in just his underwear. I'm like, bro, no, you can't do this.
It's not okay.
He stood there at the end of the driveway once and just peed.
Free spirit.
Peed in the middle. I'm like, bro, you're in the middle of the city. Like, no. Kids are so
that's
weird.
Funny.
Kids are so weird. All right, so your mom's famous now. We made her famous.
I sent that screenshot to you, and I said, she better watch out. She might make herself famous here one of these days. And here it is. So,
all right, so I want to circle back here. I mentioned a conversation that we were having on the boat when we were in Canada. Remember, Gary and you and I were, rolling around. We got talking about all these crazy rules and stuff and how they're changing things in and out of Canada. We were just kind of having a great conversation about everything that's happened, the struggles that they've faced, when will or how can some tourism pick up, different stuff. And he mentioned that they were actually looking at completely banning it where you were, duck hunters were not going to be allowed to take waterfowl meat out of Canada. Well, lo and behold, bingo, what just happened? You're no longer allowed to transfer any sort of wild waterfowl, whether it's ducks, geese, anything, from Canada into the United States. It's not the Canadian government that put this in. It's actually the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture. It came in because this is a whole deal with the bird flu that's floating around. They don't want. So is this a
temporary thing, or is this going to be an implementation moving forward?
As they have not given an end date on it, so it's forever now. They would have to end it if they would. This, by the way, went into effect 2 days after Canada's waterfowl season opened. So think about the guys and gals that went from the States to Canada to waterfowl hunt, thinking they're going to be able to bring all this back. 2 days into their hunt, Nope, you can't anymore. And now all the meat, everything they have, has to stay in Canada.
Oh, man.
Yikes. Yeah, so do they have a grace period for that then?
No, it was a dead stop. Boom, you can't do it. And this is the reason I remember having this conversation with Gary because we were laughing about it going, I guess laughing's not the word, but we were kind of chuckling to ourselves of like the stupidity of it, of you can't go to Canada, hunt these birds, harvest them, clean them, take their meat back to the U.S., but this bird can freely fly from Canada to the U.S.
Right. Yeah.
These are animals that freely move. Like
it's not like
their
it's
migration.
that far.
They move from there through here.
Right.
So, like, what's the different? And you're not. It's not like you're bringing whole birds necessarily. You're bringing meat,
breasted meat,
and you're not bringing them
right.
to take around other fowl to potentially infect other fowl.
Right.
I don't quite understand this. And again, I'm not a wildlife biologist or work for the Department of Agriculture or whatever. But it's just one of those things that just stands out to me as just kind of the
Well, and it's not as if you're bringing a live bird back.
You're not bringing them to breed or something like that. You're
or to even feed with
Right.
other birds that they would be able to spread it that way.
They're dead and it's your food. That's terrible. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. And that's going to prevent. And that's going to hinder. That's going to hinder Canadian outfitters.
Right.
Absolutely.
Even more. Even more. And so they start there with fowl. What if the next one is any meat? You can't bring any venison or fish.
Fair.
You know, we were talking with Gary. One of the things that they're talking about in and on Ontario is maybe putting in, obviously, a change in the possession limit. So when we were up there this year, and it's been every time I've ever been up there, you have two different licenses. You can get a conservation license or a sports license. So with a sports license, it's basically lesser of your possession and your keeping. So I believe possession is still like 2 walleyes a day, but you can only bring back 2 walleyes. So your possession and your keep are the same.
Okay.
Now with the conservation, you get, which is weird that it's called that way, or is it am I flip-flopping them? No, I think the conservation's the more. Or is the sports more? No, sportsman's more. The conservation, is the less.
Yeah.
The sport is the more. So your daily possession is 2 walleyes, but you can bring back 4.
Yeah.
But they're talking about halving that next year. So your possession would be 1, and you can bring back 2. And then for the conservation, you can only bring back 1. Like, at that point, is it even worth
it? Yeah.
I mean,
right.
I also think going to Canada to fish, it's not Lake Erie. You're not going to stock the freezer full of walleyes.
Right.
Canada, you're going to get up there in God's country, to call it. Sunset country, specifically talking about, that area of Ontario. You're going to experience that be in that environment. I think that's the biggest draw to it, not stock in the freezer.
That's the biggest point. It's not, you're right, not to stock your freezer. It's to enjoy it, have shore lunches, see sunsets, fish, camaraderie, drink, have a good time, and eat, and then just bring a couple home, but not to, you're not trying to feed the family for the winter.
Yeah.
So, that's one. Just a little law, a little change, something to keep an eye on, keep a lookout for going forward. But actually, Gary texted me the other day. I'm going to share a little bit of that text thread. We're talking Gary Moeller of Ballard's Black Island, which we talked to him when we were live at Ballard's a couple weeks ago. You can check out that episode on our podcast channel if you missed it out. Great look into what it's like fishing in Canada, specifically Ballard's Black Island, how awesome that place is, where it's like show up and catch fish, basically. So you can go check that out anytime. Of course, Tailgate Talk brought to you by BuckRub Outfitters. You can check them out online, BuckRubArchery.com. They're off of Silvernail Road in Pewaukee. We were just talking about them earlier in the show, all the great stuff that we've all got from BuckRub Outfitters throughout this past year. I was out there, grabbed up some fresh arrows, tasked them to shoot a league out there a lot to get ready. Weg's got an awesome new crossbow from them out there, and we mentioned some of the cool stuff as far as servicing and helping people get ready for the season. The stock that they have in stock, not sold out of like a lot of online places are. So if you're looking for anything archery related before the big opener coming up here already next weekend,
it's crazy, a week away.
BuckRub Outfitters, go check them out. But we were just talking about Canada and some of the rules changes up there. And I mentioned Gary from Ballard's Black Island. We were up there with him and fishing and everything. And I get a text yesterday from Gary Moeller. All it is a picture of Z-Man TRD Craws, 6-pack from Tackle Warehouse, by the way. It says, "Are these the ones you use? Also, I need to suggest a new brand for tubes. Berkeley has really dropped the ball. I can catch one fish on the tube, but it's toast junk." So
toast
we're up there.
Junk is such a phrase that he would say.
Yeah, it's just a Gary thing. But anyway, so we were up there. I was fishing a lot with the Z-Man Pro Craws, is what I like to use a lot of times for like crawfish baits. I basically use them as like a bed bait. But up there, we were talking about like the walleyes, everything is eating crawfish. So anyway, I recommended Gary the Pro Craws, whatever, which I'm going to circle back to the whole crawfish eating thing. He looks at the price of the Pro Craws, so a 3-pack of the Pro Craws is basically $5. He goes, whoa, $5 for a pack of 3? They sure know how to charge the pros.
Yeah.
But I mean, I basically told him, no, just go the regulars. The Pro Craws are just bigger, some different colors. I like the bigger profile. Go with that. I don't burn through as many baits as he would, being a guide up there. So just get the regulars. And I said, what did I say? That's why you only use the stuff for you and the extra special clients. The guys that show you cool baits like that in action. Wink. But anyway, we got talking more later on in that afternoon, and he was saying, I can't stop crushing fish on the crawfish bodies. It's just unreal how they smoke it. To which I pointed out to him, we were there. It's obvious they're eating crawfish because you could catch anything fishing tubes. He caught a muskie, first drop on a tube.
Yeah.
I mean, we were catching smallmouth, walleyes. You can get
30 seconds into our day with them.
Anything on a tube. And I pointed out to him, I said, well, I'm sure with the high water, there was obviously a bumper crop of crawfish. There had to have been because the water up higher, there's more access to mud, more access to things that they have not have access to before. More places for them to hide to not be a food resource to then breed and grow more. With that high water, it definitely changed that. Think of the last couple of years also, I feel like there was definitely a bumper crop of crawfish. On top of the fact that September, October is typically a time where crawfish come back out to molt again. Mm. So again, there's just more of them out there. They're maybe a bumper. I'm it's obvious. They're eating them. There's more of them there. Right. Exactly. So the fish are keyed in on. They know that they're there. They know there's more of them. So yeah, any crawfish imitation is going to be hot on Lake of the Woods for all species. I guarantee through the rest of fall. Guarantee it. And that's what I told him. I said, so whatever you got, whatever you can do, keep fishing it. That is the obvious pattern that fish are going to be keyed in. And I'm curious what that'll look like next year. Because, I was crushing my drop shots. I'm smallmouth fishing, basically.
Yeah.
Fishing all drop shots. So I'm fishing kind of that minnow, that shad bite, things like that. And I would say equally, as they were hitting that, they were crushing the tubes and hitting crawfish-type baits. So that, to me, says that, that, they're always going to eat minnows. But when they're eating crawfish as good as minnows, that's what they're keyed in on.
Yeah.
And it's going to change. You're going to go with a boatload of them, and the next year, water level, whatever reasoning, they're going to be hitting on something else.
I find it funny. Every time I've been up by Gary, I've brought a new bag of tricks, and I've shown him something new, or I've figured out something new that he gets super excited about and is all in on. And that was just one of those, it's been how many weeks have we been there? And he's circled back okay, what was that again? I need to get some of those. I need to know what's going on.
When he finally has a minute to come up and breathe.
Right.
He was telling us, you were saying earlier about the broadhead challenges and just shortages with a lot of that stuff. He was saying that for the longest time, he was having a lot of problems with supply with Berkeley baits.
Yeah, he has to deal with
You think about that. They're one of the largest bait companies, your plastics companies.
Well, because, they had the pro program that a lot of tackle companies or other stuff have. I was a Yakima pro. So my roof rack system was a pro for Yakima. So I got discounted Yakima product. Obviously to use it, to showcase it, to stuff like that. Being outfitters, a lot of times they can be a part of a pro program as well. Yeah. So again, the same. They're ordering direct from the manufacturer and getting discounts because they're ordering in such volume, and because obviously they're showing off and using the product with clients who then may go to retail to buy them. That's why these companies do the pro program, so to speak. And it got to be so hard. We talked about in the show in 2020 and into 2021 with the supply. They just couldn't keep up with supplying that. Pro program. Because they'd rather have product at retail.
Outdoor.
The retailers needed the product, so all the product had to go there. I mentioned Yakima because that's what happened with me. They discontinued the pro program because they needed to send all their product to retail.
Makes sense.
Since everybody went to outdoor activities.
Exactly. Yeah. So they had to eliminate that, which, was bummed that, I lost. I'm hoping they bring the pro program back and I can get back in with that because it's nice to have those discounts on some of those products. And as I'm looking to change and move around some things, I need some more Yakima products for some future vehicles and whatnot. So just thought I'd throw that out there. But yeah, I just thought it was fun. Interesting. I want to bring that up. Is there anything you want to bring to the table? I feel like I've been yabbering out about all kinds of stuff here.
I don't know.
Was that a 2-year hiatus from Ballard's or was that a 1 year?
It was 3 years because I had been hosting a trip going up there. I did 3 years in a row, I took a year off. And then we had a trip planned, and then the pandemic canceled. That was 2020.
So those are the two that I was going to go to.
And then this year,
right.
So 2020 was canceled because of the pandemic. 2021 got canceled because the gates to the country just opened, so they weren't going to be ready. Yep. So that had been 3 years since I had been up there.
Yeah. So it was 2019 to 2022.
Yeah. 2018 was the last time I was up there. I was up there 2016, 17, and 18. With a 3 years in a row, I went, and then I took the year off, figuring I'm just going to take a year off and come back. And then, the world decided to add another 2 years onto it for me to get up there.
Yep.
Yikes.
But I love it up there. Tasker, you were talking about last week in the show, just explaining Sunset Country and what it's about and just how beautiful it is. Like, even if you don't catch fish, it is still freaking just gorgeous up there.
Yeah.
There's so much of the world that's untouched. That's really cool to just feel a part of something so special. You literally feel like a grain of sand in such a giant sea. In the
Northern Lights now? Isn't it the Oregon?
We missed them by I think they were there just a couple days before we were up there. But now I keep seeing people up in the Hayward area.
Eagle River?
Yes. Crazy. That is just amazing. It's got to be incredible up there, because it's just so wide open. But
Northern Door County is one of my favorite places to see them, and I've seen them many times up there. Northern Door County. Same thing. It's just places where the cities aren't. It's dark.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable.
In the Canadian sky, you just feel like you probably, even up in Alaska, you can almost feel like you can grab at it and stuff. It's just so clear and pure. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. But what else? We're a week away from deer season opening here. It's exciting because a lot of other states have already opened their early velvet season or, just their seasons open on September 1st. So that's exciting. Wags, I'm going to come out to your place and we're going to get you set up with a climber tomorrow. So that's exciting. Get you up in the tree and make sure you know what you're doing. Yeah.
So we're going to see how that works. If anybody's listening and if I fall or get scared, if I can say this right, this scares the crap out of me. It's free to the first person who wants it. But hopefully I can handle it.
Free of charge.
Free of charge. I'll even drive it to you. But hopefully it'll work out good. And then you can. So I'm a little disappointed. One of my food plots is really slow to go. And I'm not understanding.
Dry?
Yeah.
And it didn't grow right?
I don't know, because then the other one is nice. So.
Well, we haven't had a whole lot of moisture around southeast Wisconsin.
Right.
But we're not anywhere near as bad as a lot of other places in the Midwest, though. So that we're fortunate for that, at least.
But one is hardy and full and like just taking off, and the other one is just piddling around like that. So I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit more rain this weekend. We're supposed to get some, I believe.
Yeah.
Sunday for the Packer game is supposed to be, rainy and stuff like that. So hopefully we get some moisture can hang on it. But when I tilled it all up, I didn't go over it multiple times. So on this newer one, you'll see it. There's a lot more grass. But they also said that if you keep the grasses in there, you till it. I killed it and then tilled it. And then those grasses will hold the moisture. Because of the lack of rainfall, I thought, okay, let's just keep these grasses here as a cover to hold the moisture in and then absolutely let it take off. But it just hasn't worked that way. Then I came in there again, and I don't know. This is a question for anybody. So I got a couple of those clover seeds. I did clover, brassicas, some turnips. I did a little bit of a cereal grain on the corners for a barrier. And I come in there, and after I just sprinkled the clover, those little purple or blue pellets, whatever colors they were, mixtures, depending on which ones I had about like 70 turkeys out there. Do turkeys eat clover pellets, or do turkeys eat seed?
They'll eat seed.
But it's like a BB. It's like it almost looks like a gum. I mean, a small gum.
I don't see why they wouldn't. I don't see why they wouldn't eat it.
What's so interesting though, because those purple and blue coatings, that's all the germination, like the not the pesticides, but all of the growth stuff that they put on there and the fertilizer.
Nutrients to help you out with that word there.
Steroids.
Well, I was thinking of fertilizer because they coat a lot of that so that it helps absorb right away, and that it's able to grow, in a pretty quick fashion, because obviously they're like a 6 to 8 week.
Yeah, it said 4 weeks for a 4 week for my clover, but I'm going to find out, because if all of a sudden I find out where all these turkeys run and I got a clover patch over here where they all been crapping, I'll be like, yep, they were eating them. They were eating them.
Yeah,
I got a new little food plot, a little honey hole.
So did you get a fall turkey tag?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. No, I don't.
Because I think there's still a bunch of them that are out there.
Yeah, I think that's the 6 week program. Either sex. I'm not a
Not
I'm not a fan for that. I just want to make sure.
Thanksgiving dinner.
I just want to make sure I can crush them. If I got any coyotes, I'm going to get them.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Yeah.
It's funny. You'll see how my property lays out because you've never seen it.
Right.
And I never got that drone. I wanted to do that. But you'll see it, and you'd think that when you're walking around, you're going to get scared. Rabbits are going to get kicked up. Pheasants. I mean, you're going to see stuff, and you'll be like, wait a minute. Where are the coyotes? Well, how can I have a rabbit population like that when there's coyotes all over the place, and I don't have them. And my free range chickens. I don't lose my chickens to coyotes either.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's kind of crazy, but.
Well, I'm excited to see. So, the party barn and all of that stuff. I can't wait to be out there and just see everything you got going on.
The party barn will be in full go mid-October.
Good.
But right now it's a little dirty and stuff like that.
It's a little
We're gonna have to step around.
It's been a long summer at Wagner Ranch.
We stay on the other side, but yeah, no, it should be good, and we'll put that together. Like I said, I kept it in the box. I didn't want to try to do something that I didn't know. I'm too old for that. I've tried that in the past, thinking I don't need directions and hey, I can figure this out. I watch a little YouTube video, put it away, and I think I got it figured out. But I left it in the box, and
I just can't believe
you
decided to go climber, didn't go the climbing sticks and hang-on stand.
Yeah.
Well, he'd be upside down. He's told you that. He'd be upside down, hanging in the tree. He'll be shooting, upside down with his bow in his hand, trying to figure out his yardage pins upside down.
I've had that conversation with a few people lately, and it's just like, I realize I'm feeling a little more, I'm kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people do it.
I don't know. It's a huge thing right now.
It is a huge thing, but it's also one of those things that I feel like if you are a larger person, and I don't mean weight-wise, I even mean height-wise too, it's more of a challenge. You almost have to be like in this small little dainty frame type thing that I am to be able to make that sort of thing work. It's a great lightweight way to hunt. It's fantastic, but it's not for everyone. I love it, but I realize it is just, there's certain people who are just not built for it, should not do it.
People who shoot 70-pound bows have to use climbers, Ritter.
All right, real quick, looking at opening day weather. All right. This is looking southeastern Wisconsin, since that's where we are, the kind of Milwaukee 5-county metro here. Calling for partly cloudy, high of 76, winds south-southwest, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Occasional chance at a shower, thunderstorm moving at night, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Again, 50% chance at night. So maybe an afternoon cloudiness, afternoon-ish, kind of right before dark. Maybe a shower could sneak in somewhere. That's what we're looking at for opening day. We'll see if that holds up. But that temperature being warm, I like that it's at least down into the 70s. I'd much rather see some of those 60s that are forecasted for highs around here, because we start talking about, warm weather in Venison. I think we touched on it a bit last year, the whole, how long do you let it sit? Really, the clock is everything. And I was actually reading an article from Tony Peterson was talking about this back, a couple days ago. And I totally agree with everything he said. The biggest thing it comes down to is when you get those warmer days, basically if it's over 50 degrees, you really should think about your shot placement and think about how far you're shooting. It's not, when it's that warm, that's not the time to try that 60-yard shot, that 50-yard shot.
Right.
Try and stick 25 yards and in.
Yeah.
To know that you can make that perfect. Because you don't want the deer, you don't want a bad shot. You don't want to have to let the thing sit for a couple hours, because the longer it sits, the worse it is. I mean, you could have an entire deer completely spoiled and ruined. And the whole point of hunting is to feed ourselves or feed others, and not to just shoot and kill and waste animals because we let them spoil. And
with that, it's obviously earlier season then. So you have plenty of season ahead of you. There's no reason to be taking those, longer shots if you don't feel comfortable doing that. The other thing with the weather forecast, what's disappointing is that we get our full moon tonight, Saturday night, that, it's a little early. And then I think it said,
you're a big moon guy. You're so big on the moon and those phases.
The red moon. Are you a moon guy?
Yeah, I'm a moon guy.
He's very into.
I'm very in tune with that. The next one is the 25th. I might take off on the 26th because it's a no moon.
Yeah, so, I think the new moons, the dark sky would be the best, because I've found anytime you get those full moons, they're just moving around all night. They don't care. I mean, everything's lit up for them.
Yeah.
Those are probably my slower mornings. I don't know, man.
There's something about it that just changes their habits, or whether that's their ability to see better and have, total visibility with the full moon. But it also works the opposite when there's, the new moon, where there's no moon out there. So it's something about the I don't know. It's the astrology in the world, I guess. I honestly, I don't know what it is, but I do know that it changes their patterns and that they're much more active when there is a full moon. So, like, this weekend, I'll drive around at night and just look for deer because I know they'll be out.
Yeah.
Do you have that circle thing that you spin and it sets up?
I don't, but maybe I should get that. Maybe it'll start
I think it's
moving
like a
when
haze
it's
moon night or something.
Yeah.
And those guys, they
should.
believe in it hard. Like, they're talking like on those moons, and there's certain areas, those are 200-inch deer movements, and again, you have to have a 200-inch deer there. It's not like they're just going to come down and show up.
They turn into a 200-inch deer
your
on the full moon.
150s are 200
Right.
inches.
They grow bigger just for that night.
Now, what do you do? What's your plan of attack if you go out early season? Do you get a doe? Look for the monster buck?
Well, the text thread that's been going on between myself, Tasker, and our buddy John Resnick is we're going to go arrow 2 does on opening day, and then Ritter's going to get to go fishing.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So
and I've got 3 doe takes for Washington County. I plan on shooting all 3 of them.
All does on opening weekend?
Not on opening weekend, but I would like to get that
soon.
By the time we go up north for my first sit in Eau Claire County. I'd like to, it would be obviously ideal to have 3 does taken care of, and then I'd be fine.
So freezer's full, and now you're just going for bone.
Yeah.
I want to at least get one to put something in the freezer, and then I can go back to fishing until November. I can just put the bone in.
Right.
I don't care about it. I can keep fishing until November. Because I love fall fishing. There's some amazing bass fishing. I mentioned crawfish that they come. The jig bite can get hot.
Yeah.
Coming up here into the fall, and me with some of the movie baits. The fish start pushing up shallower. So topwater, spinner bait. It's some great time to be out fishing.
I love it. I've told you that before. I love cold water fishing. I love opening, even gun season up there, the Chippewa on the Flambeau. I love cold water fishing.
So are you going
fishing.
up there sometime?
Yeah, I'm going to go up there probably. Well, I like to hunt. I like to bow hunt here for Halloween in that first week in November. So depending on what the temperature is and how the water's flowing and stuff like that, and what they do with the dams and the locks up on Sandy, I'll kind of play it by ear. I prefer to go up later.
Okay.
It's close to late, like November 10th, 11th, something like that, rather than October 20th. But I got to figure it out. I got to figure out what's going on.
I don't know. November 8th is going to be another full moon. So
then I got to say, well, hopefully November 3rd I'll have like my wall mounter.
Yeah, and you won't have to worry about it anymore.
So then I can get my 50-inch muskie, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, it never gets old. It's always fun stuff.
Oh, I love that.
Again, one other thing we got possibly we've been working with Iron Jock. Iron Jock Studio is our 97.3 The Game right down the hall where we do our sports talk. They sponsor it. Paul Hansen's a great guy. He's a man out of Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Put together a great apparel and a clothing line for us. We are going to start to work on Iron Jock. Iron Jock has a silver technology program where it eats odor. It's better than the charcoals and the golds and the lithiums and all that stuff, which I know nothing about. I just throw those names out.
They're fancy metals that were on the periodic table.
Exactly right. But it goes to your odor-eating areas. Obviously, we're going to have some underwear. We're going to have socks. And we're going to have something for the armpits. But it's going to be undergarment wear, and hopefully Iron Jock becomes a sponsor for us, and we're going to try to work it and put it to test and see how long it works rather than spending millions and millions of dollars on ozonics and stuff like that.
I'll look forward to that. We'll wrap it up here. I know we got a lot of stuff to get to the next coming weeks, as obviously, next weekend will be us probably getting ready for the opener, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. I know we got to get our buddy John Resnick in here. Just came from Clam, their pro day, and some great stuff on ice fishing, which I know you're like, it's September. Why? It'll be here before we know it. This year's already flown by. Yes, I said it's September. It's bow season.
It's crazy, man.
It's bonkers. So we'll catch you on the next one. It's Tailgate Talk.